Anybody wants to tell us a bit about coding? What do you understand by the term coding? Joanne, you want to give it a try?
Coding is when you use different it's when you use different algorithms to make a program or something.
A program. Okay.
I believe coding.
Okay.
Coding is like you have to use you have to program. So yeah, you have to tell a machine how to perform actions.
Yes. Exactly. That's right. Okay. So the two, do we have any other person giving us a definition? Any other person? Okay. All right. So what Joanne and Joshua have said are accurate. So Joanne said using a couple of algorithms, and Joshua said something about giving instructions on how a computer should perform something, carry out some instructions. So yes, I would say that they are both right. If you want to get something that's common between what both of them have said, the idea is that we have some instructions that we give to our computer, and our computer simply executes them. Okay? So can you see the simplicity of that? You give your computer instructions and the computer executes them. Now, I'm very sure that you guys would wish there are some machines that understand English. Okay, so what they call natural language. But it's not all machines that do that. So the way that we primarily tell the computer how to go about doing what it's doing is we may need to type it out in a programming language, okay? And Scratch is somewhat of a programming language, okay? So I'm going to share my screen now, and you guys would see the IDE. Joshua, you turned off your camera. I hope you're still there.
Yes.
Okay. I think Jason is joining. All right, so I'll be sharing my screen now. Let's take a look at what I have. All right, so you guys will tell me if you can see my screen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right, good. Okay, so Joshua, you want to turn on your camera so that we know you are there. And Jason's camera is off too. Okay, Joshua is back. Okay. All right, so let's move on. All right, so if there's anybody here that's familiar with Scratch, at least you'll see there are some things that look common across all the versions of Scratch that you may have dealt with. Okay, so this area is the categories of the blocks that you have, and then these are the actual blocks. So this first category by default is for motion. This second one is for loops. That's how things look. Maybe for your speech bubbles and stuff. This is where we would spend time when we're dealing with dialogue. There's sound. I really wish we could do sound, but okay. So people have entered the waiting room. Okay. Okay, so like I said, I wish we could do sound, but let's see. Maybe you guys might be lucky. We might be able to do sound today. Then we have events. This is another place where we'll spend some time. Events. And then control. Okay, control has to do with controlling your program, you know, from one point to the other. Okay. Those that just joined, could you do us a favor and turn on your cameras? Jason, Imalem, and who is the last person? Okay, Killian has turned on his camera. Jason, I'm still waiting for you to turn on your camera. Okay. So then I think another place we'll be dealing with today would be the sensing part. Sensing is the part that has to do with when the sprites interact with each other. Okay. We'll not be able to deal with operators, though I'd have loved to. Operators have to do with mathematics and stuff like that. And then variables. When we'll be building a game, probably in the last session, we'll deal with variables. Okay, so let's go back to the first one. Now, ideally, the first one that we should be referencing would be the events, because this is how you start your programs typically. Okay, so of course, Scratch supports drag and drop. What that means is, whether you're using a tablet or a laptop, all you need to do is to move your mouse, or you know, if you are doing you move your mouse over to the block you want. So you can see it's still shaped like a hand, right? I'm going to hold down the left key. Now it's like it has gripped it. And then I'm going to drag it to this area, which is where the script is written. Okay. Now that block I just dragged, I hope you guys can still see my screen.
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay, so that block I just dragged now is, if you can see what's written on it, when green flag clicked. Okay, so the green flag is like the one that tells you go ahead, right? In your like a green light, you know, a green traffic light, while the red one says stop. So by the time we're done with our program, all we need to do is to click on the green flag and it starts. All right, so let's do a small animation here. Let's see if we can make this cat move from one end to the other. Okay. So for us to do an animation, let's understand the basic things about an animation. First of all, an animation is really a trick on your eye. Okay. So most of you would have seen some of those videos on YouTube where an artist will draw different pictures on something like a jotter, okay, that has many pages. And when they draw those different pictures of the character in different positions, excuse me, they now flip through the pages of the jotter, and just your eyes looking at those images as they are being flipped through would make it look like they were what? Actually moving, right? Has anybody seen the videos I'm talking about? Let me know if we're together. Anybody?
Yes.
Joanne, have you seen any videos like that on YouTube?
Yeah.
Joshua,
Yes.
you have?
Yeah.
Okay. So basically, an animation is just a trick on your eye. All right, it's a trick. Now let me tell you why it's a trick. Number one, the drawings are not really moving, but they give you the impression that they're moving. Why? Because your eye has a way of keeping track of the last things it saw. So when your eye sees an image, by the time you show it another image, it still has somehow a lasting impression of the last one. So it's seeing the last one and this next one, you know, almost about the same time. So it now looks like they are happening simultaneously. You get? So that impression now leaves you with an animation. It now looks like the image is actually moving. So that's the whole idea of an animation. Now, with having said that, this cat has two costumes. So let's just take a look at the costumes. The costumes are at the top left here, so you can see them. So we're going to be tricking our eye in quote, okay, by moving from one costume to the other. That's simply what we're doing, okay? So let's see how we go about that. Of course, we've dragged this block when green flag clicked. For those who are not here when we dragged it, all we did was to move our mouse here, hold it down, the left mouse, the left click, the left mouse key, okay? And we dragged it all the way here. When we reach this place, we drop, okay? So we can't have two for now. Let's just delete one. Okay, so I have my when green flag clicked. The next thing we're going to do is to make the cat actually move, okay? Because we want it to move from here to here, right? So for us to do that, we'll have to go to motion, all right? And you see under motion, you have a couple of blue blocks there that match with the color of the category. I'll move that and drop that there, okay? 10 steps, all right? Next, for the looks, for me to go to the next costume, I'll grab that and put it right there. Next costume, okay? So all it will be doing is to move from one costume to the other, again, to trick your eyes. All right, so the next thing that happens is the events. Okay, no, we've already done events. Okay, so let's see how it looks like right now. All right, let's see how it looks like right now. So if I click the green flag, I want you guys to just watch and see if anything really happens. Okay, it looks like somebody got stuck out there, or the internet killed them out. Okay, so I'm going to click on the green flag. Please, I want you to see and tell me if you noticed anything. Did you notice anything?
Yes.
You noticed it moved, right? It appeared to move. Gave the impression. Now for me, now watch what I'm going to do to make it go across. I have to keep on clicking the green flag. I have to keep on doing this, okay? Now this is not really fun that you have to click it over and over again. Okay, so I'm going to do something that will make my cat do the animation all by itself, okay? So let's go back to our screen and drag it all the way back. Okay, so for me to make the motion repeated, okay, I'm going to go to control and take a repeat block. A repeat block simply allows me to do stuff over and over again. Okay, so I didn't actually want that to happen. This is what I wanted to happen. I wanted both of them to be in the repeat block. Okay, now it makes sense. I could change this 10 to something more because 10 may not be enough for me. Let's make it 50. Okay. All right. So now let's see what we have there. Okay. What did you guys notice? Our cat moved by itself. And it looked like our cat was in a hurry, right? Our cat was really in a hurry. Okay. So I'm going to take it back. I want now for us to make our cat look like it was actually walking. That's what we want to achieve. Okay. We want to achieve a walking step. All right. That means the cat, we need to slow it down. When you want to slow things down with Scratch, you use a wait block. Okay. So you can see that. Wait for 1 second. 1 second is actually too much for a real animation. So we're going to make it wait for 0.5 seconds. 0.5 is like half of a second. Okay, so let's see how it looks now. Okay, does it give you the impression that it's working? It's more natural, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. So I want you to see what happens when it gets to the end. It seems like the cat walks off the stage. This area is called the stage. This area where the cat is moving, it's called the stage. It seems like it's walking off the stage. But we don't want our cat to walk off the stage. Let's tell it when it gets to this end, it should turn around and go this way. Okay, so for us to do that, we also need a command. Now take note, anytime we want to tell the cat to do something, we give it a command. You'd never assume anything when you're coding. Never assume, oh, the computer should be able to sort that out. No. And I think I started off the last class telling them that the computer is the dumbest machine ever. Okay, if your computer looks like it's smart, guess what? It's the programs on your computer that actually make it look like it's smart. Your phone is a computer, really. Okay, so it's a smaller computer, if you like. Just the difference is just that it's mostly tailored towards making calls and stuff like that. But if you come down to the basics, your phone is just a computer. Now, what's the similarity? Your phone is useless without the apps. Okay, so anybody who is into creating software, creating apps and stuff like that actually has a big role to play when it comes to computers and phones. Okay, all right. So I don't know if any of you is trying to do this while I'm explaining. I'll just encourage you to listen first before you try it out on your own. Now, for me to make it turn around, I'm going to take another block from motion, okay? And that block is going to be if on edge bounce. So where is it? Okay, that's it there. If on edge bounce, you may need to scroll down a bit to see it. So that's it, if on edge bounce. All right, so let's see how it goes now. I'm going to click the green flag again, and here we go. Okay. So my cat is moving. It's getting to the edge. I'm a bit excited about that. I'm wondering if it's going to actually turn when it hits the edge. Okay, it turned. But guess what? It's upside down. We don't want our cat upside down, do we? I'm sure you don't. Okay, except if you want to achieve some kind of weird animation. But we want our cat to be turned the right way up. Killian, you're off. I hope you're not distracted. Do your best not to be distracted so that you don't miss anything. Okay. I'll try my best to answer questions, but please don't make us have to go back to take on something we've already passed. Okay, so to make our cat walk normally, even after hitting the edge of our stage, we'll come to direction. Okay, please take note, guys. Can you see direction? Can you see where my mouse is?
Yes.
Directly under the stage. So there's a measurement there that says direction. So just click. You can click on the word itself, and it will show you this green whatever, like a green dial. Okay, it's a circle. Like it almost looks like a clock, but it's more like the direction of your sprite. Now take note, this is the one that's active. I don't want this one that says all round. I want this one that says left stroke right. So when I do that, guess what? My cat is okay now. Look at what happens when I click on the green flag again. So my cat completes its movement, goes all the way back to where it started. Okay. It does all that, hits the edge, and turns around again. Nice. Okay. So has anybody been able to achieve what I just achieved? Have you been able to put your blocks together? Anybody?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Okay. Who else? Joshua, have you been able to do yours?
Yes. Yes, please.
Okay.
I don't have Scratch.
Okay, you don't have Scratch.
No.
Are you using a tablet or a computer? You are using a computer?
I'm using a phone.
I didn't hear you.
I'm using a phone.
Okay. Okay, I'm not sure I actually heard that, but if it's a device, does it have a Play Store?
Yes.
Okay, you're using a phone. Did you say phone?
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. So my challenge with a phone doing Scratch is the screen is too small. All right. The screen is too small. Okay.
Which one is it? Is it Scratch Junior or?
Yes, it's Scratch 3. Yes, Scratch 3, the latest one. So that's just the challenge with the phone. But if you can manage it, I don't know. I'm just looking at how all these things will show on your phone screen at the same time. So you can see why I say if you are using a tablet is a bit better. But I'd even prefer a laptop, like you see everything and you can enjoy everything. Okay. All right. Is Ima, you're excited? I guess you've been able to create something, right? All right. So, any questions? Anybody have any questions before we move on to the next bit? Okay, no questions. All right. Okay, so maybe one more thing I need to talk about is the stage itself. We can change the backdrop, okay? Now to change the backdrop, can you see where my mouse is, where it says stage? Go all the way down to the bottom. You'll see choose a backdrop. Once you click on that, it shows you different backdrops, okay? Maybe for our demonstration today, I would use, which one should we use? Okay, let's use this one that makes it look like it's in front of a castle. Or does anybody have one that you would like to use or she would like to use? The first person to unmute and say something will tell us which one to use.
Is there like a track or something?
A track.
A field. Yeah, a field.
Which one is it? Can you tell me which one it's well there are names under them so that it's easy to find. I didn't hear you guys. Okay, let me see. Okay, can you type out? Let's see if you can type your Metro. Okay. So let's look for Metro. Okay, that's Metro. Oh, okay. Like a city. Nice. Okay. All right. So that's cool. All right, Metro is nice. Okay, we'll use Metro for today's class or for this particular project. That's fine. Let's see how our cat looks like walking along the Metro. Okay. All right. So somebody asked an interesting question in the last class. I don't know if any of you is thinking that way. Is it possible for our cat to interact with any of these buildings in the backstage, in the backdrop rather? Now, I told the person for now, okay, that can't happen. And the reason is because the buildings are not sprites. I forgot to mention that the name of our characters in Scratch are called sprites. So actually, Scratch was meant to be like animation, biased towards animation, but it's not just for animation. It's basically coding. And of course, with that coding, you can achieve animation and any other thing you want. Okay, so let's do something. Let's add one more character to our stage. So I'm going to just beside choose a backdrop, there's choose a sprite. And this time I'm going to choose someone that's walking. You can see Avery there, or Avery. I don't know if that's the correct pronunciation of her name. Okay, so I'm choosing Avery because it looks like she's walking already. Okay, that makes life easy for us, right? Let's look at the costumes under Avery. Can you see Avery has 1, 2, 3, 4 costumes. And guess what? You can add your own costumes. Okay, so let's see if we can make Avery work. Now, if you notice, whenever you have 2 sprites on the stage, the code for one of them is different from the coding area for the second one. So this is for the cat, and this is for Avery walking. Can you see Avery is empty, totally empty? So let's see if we can, I want to see if I can do a cheat on this. All right, so I want to see if I can quickly use this code that I use for my cat for Avery. Now to do that, now this might be a bit tricky. I don't know if you might be able to do that on your tablet if you're using a tablet. Just hold down the first block. Take note, the first one, and drag it as if you are dragging it towards this bottom area. Okay, sorry, I need to close this. Okay, so drag it as if you are dragging it to this bottom area. Then move it over Avery. Since it's Avery that you want to use it for. Once it's over Avery, you drop. Sorry, that's a mistake. I'll do that again. Drag it towards Avery. Can you see Avery shook, right? If you noticed it, I don't know if you guys noticed it. It was as if Avery like shook a bit, like to show you that, oh, I've gotten the code now. Once you're sure, you drop it. Now let's see if Avery has it, and Avery does have it. Now this, what I just did now, oh, we have 2. So I'm going to delete 1. What I just did now will save you a whole lot of time when you are coding, okay, to save you time, especially when the blocks are the same. Now let's see if what we have works for Avery. And I'll click on go, and guess what? We have 2 sprites moving across each other on the stage. Okay. Is someone helping you? Okay. Mommy, do you need help?
Mommy, yeah, do you have someone helping you? Are you okay?
Yeah.
Are you following me? Okay. Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so if you guys are sharing a device, I will encourage you guys to like, you know, somebody would work on it for like few minutes and the other hand over to the next person, okay? So that you guys will get to experience it yourselves. It's one thing watching someone doing it, and it's quite another doing it yourself. Okay, so who can tell me how we'll fix this? If you remember how we did that for the cats, who wants to tell us? How did we fix it? Avery is upside down. How do we make her stay the right way? Yes, somebody said something.
You click on
Direction.
Yes. And then
and you press the 2 arrows in the middle.
oh yes, this one, right? This one that says left, right. Excellent. Well done. That's a good one. Okay, so I hope you guys got that. If there's anybody that didn't know how to go about it, all right, now you know. Okay, so that's our animation, and Avery is walking right to the other side of the stage. She hits the edge and she's bouncing back. Okay, so this is just a mild animation. The next bit, what we will be doing next would be to make them talk. Okay, as if they're talking to each other. All right, so before I do that, before I make them look as if they're talking to each other, let's make it look like they're walking in the same direction. Okay, now for me to do that, I'll need to either turn Avery towards the cat or turn the cat towards Avery. So maybe we should turn Avery towards the cat. Now to do that, I want you to see what I'm going to do. Avery is pointing in what direction? She's pointing in 90 degrees. The direction is 90 degrees. That's pointing towards the right-hand side. So I want you to take note of some things. Anything that's towards the right-hand side is usually a value that doesn't have a sign, okay? And when numbers don't have signs in mathematics, you guys may have been told that those values are positive, right? They're positive numbers, okay? But if they have a sign, like in this case, a minus sign, the dash, then it's a negative value, okay? It's negative, and it's usually towards the left, all right? So I'm going to make Avery point to move in the same direction with the cat. So I'm going to put a dash, a minus in front of her direction. That's minus 90. So you can see she's done that. Now, somebody might say, why didn't I use the arrow? Okay, because this arrow can be moved, right? But I didn't use the arrow because sometimes it's usually hard to, get the exact number that you need. Okay, unless you are really good. Okay, so I would prefer to type in here. But sometimes you might need to use this if you want to, you're doing a game and you want it to point in a particular angle. That's fine. All right, so that's AV. Now, I'll move my cat little towards AV. So now they're close together so that when they're saying things, they can hear each other. Okay. All right. So we have 4 minutes. Let's see what we can do with that 4 minutes before this session ends. Now, take note. Zoom, I'm sure you guys must have noticed it by now. In between, we'll have like 9 minutes, like a 9 minutes break. Okay, so please take note so that we don't have to start calling you back in on the WhatsApp group. After this session ends, 9 minutes, after 9 minutes, join again. I will be in by then so that we can quickly move on to the next bit. Okay, so you might not have PowerPoint on your tablet, but if you have your notebook with you, what I want to do now with PowerPoint is a very simple thing. All right, it's nothing big, and I'm using PowerPoint because I'm showing you guys how I'm doing it on my computer. Somebody saying something? Did somebody ask a question? Let me see. Oh, okay. Joshua said my device is not compatible. Okay, all right. Okay, so I'm just doing this with PowerPoint. It's not necessary that you use PowerPoint, okay? Just draw a table that has 2 columns. Now, the reason why it has 2 columns is because I have 2 characters, okay? Very simple stuff, no big deal. Okay, now, if you go back to Scratch, let me show you my Scratch. You can see that AV is on the right-hand side, isn't it? And my cat is on the left-hand side. So just to have that, impression in your mind, I'm going to put Avery on this side, on the right-hand side, because I know she's on the right-hand side. And my cat is on the left. Please, I need you guys to pay attention. Just pay attention. You'll catch up with anything you need to catch up with. But this bit is quite important. All right. So, like I said, we want you to look like they are actually talking, okay? Maybe not with sounds. Like I said, for today, we may not be able to do sounds because of time. But let's say the cat was the first to speak, okay? Now you can choose whoever you want to speak. You guys have done your dialogues with in your creative writing workshop. So let's say the cat spoke first. And what should our cat say? Let's see. I'm just thinking of a conversation. Today is a sunny day. Today is a sunny day. Okay. Now, your speech bubbles in Scratch have a certain amount of time that they will stay on the screen before they disappear. Okay. So you can just, let's just pretend that he said that for 2 seconds. Okay. Now, if Avery, remember, we're talking and Avery is listening. The cat is talking, Avery is listening. For us to make Avery listen, then Avery will need to wait for 2 seconds. Okay. Now, maybe we can do something with our 9 minutes because it's less than a minute now. So develop your conversation. I'm going to develop mine. So the next person who is going to talk will be Avery. Avery is going to say, yes, it is for 2 seconds. Okay. So just develop it, and don't forget the cat will have to wait while Avery is talking. For how many seconds? 2 seconds. Okay. All right. So I'd like to see what you guys come up with. By the time we come back, we'll have our conversation built out. Then we'll put it into the sprite. Okay, I'll show you guys how to do it, to put it into the sprite, into the Scratch program. So